For our teacher inquiry project, I interviewed a first-year teacher who teaches part-time 5th grade and part-time 8th grade, but she is technically a full-time teacher, but just working 2 different grades. So I asked her the questions that we were given, and the first question, how do you conduct teacher inquiry in your classroom? And she basically explained that she does a few different things. So after projects, she'll do the kind of check-in to make sure that students are understanding what they just learned right then. And she also brought up she does a stoplight activity where after presenting a lesson, she will have them put a sticky note on green for they understand, yellow they're still learning it, or red they do not get it, and that way she can use a quick fun way to check for their understanding and whether or not she should move on, which I thought was a really good idea. So I asked her, what do you feel are the benefits of teacher inquiry? And she said the benefit of teacher inquiry is that it helps keep you on track with your lesson planning, and it helps reinforce that you're continually checking that you're understanding where the students are at. So it's like collaboration between students and teacher. So then I asked, how do you use teacher inquiry and self-reflection to inform your practice? And she said she reflects a lot. This is something as a first-year teacher that she finds imperative because you have to, or you're just going to be going in circles. And it helps her self-reflect and determine what she needs to work on since she is still learning as a first-year teacher. How do you see teacher inquiry benefiting education? She explained that she sees it benefiting education because if we learn to self-reflect more often, then we are instilling that into our practice as something that is needed. And without self-reflection, we wouldn't grow as teachers, which I totally agree with. What do you use to collect data? And with their school, they use iReady, which I hadn't heard of, but it's something that monitors the students' reading skills and vocabulary skills, close reading skills, and annotation skills. And she goes off this data when I determine if they're ready to move on from certain concepts. What do you find are the struggles with conducting teacher inquiry in your class? One of the struggles she expressed seeing was that each class is different, and she's one that has multiple classes during the day, so she has to go from one age group of students to a whole different age group all in the same day, which is already such a struggle because they're so different. And she talked about how each group of students learns totally differently, even just within the classroom, not even compared to different grades. And she said this will always be something that is relevant in the classroom, and she said it's something that she struggles with the most. And that it's a constant battle for her to master this. And the next question was, how do you overcome the struggles? And she said I overcome my struggles with PLCs. I'm constantly checking in with the other English teachers to see what I should do, change, or add to my lessons. And because she's first year, they have a lot of really good advice for her, she said, because they've all had that first year moment. And I agree. I feel like I'd be scared to go to teachers, but they have the most experience, so that's the best option. And the last question I asked her was, is teacher inquiry easy to incorporate in your day-to-day activities in the class? And she said, I would say that teacher inquiry is hard to incorporate because not every day is going to go exactly how it's planned. You're going to have a lesson plan, you're going to have activities planned, but a student's going to be missing, or something's going to happen, or a fire drill, or you get caught up in the lesson and then you aren't able to incorporate these inquiry strategies that you had intended on using. And she said she feels that next year will be easier because she can focus on her data collection, since this year they don't have, the school that she's working at does not have an English curriculum in place, so she has to write it all herself. which means she doesn't have as much time for inquiry, she feels. But she thinks that next year, because she'll have the curriculum all set in place, that she will be able to focus on inquiry with her students.